understand the reason.
My name is Dee-Dee Darby-Duffin, and I'm a singer, and I'm a playwright, and I'm an actor. I truly believe that that if you have a platform and that people will listen to you, that there's a level of responsibility to supply people with information that they can use to become critical thinkers. I remember listening to someone say, "Oh, entertainers should just stay in their lane." I think that we get to choose our lanes. And as an artist, I have chosen that my lane is to also be a platform to make other people knowledgeable about things that they wouldn't have ever thought about before. If you're coming to get to know me, I want you to know all of me. I want you to know all the parts, the parts that bring me joy, and also the parts that bring me that bring me pause, that cause me to pause and like think about what's happening in the world. And if you can't handle that, then okay, then don't come. But I think I found a kind of nuanced way to get people to get to hear the information that I want them to hear. Well, you know, I'm a charming son of a sea biscuit. I'll just tell you that. And I know that over the years I have developed a way to like connect with people instantly, and you know, just you build trust. People think that they can trust you. They start telling you things. You start telling them things, and then there's this kind of rapport that's developed. And so my process was not always like this cut and dried. I worked up to it. I built confidence to do it because, again, if you're always told to stay in your lane, then you're like, oh, I'm just a singer. I'm not going to do anything else. I'm just going to sing jazz. I'm going to dress pretty. I'm going to wear the dresses. I'm going to smile and, you know, and be charming, and that's going to be it. And then and everybody gets to go home. But I thought, what a colossal missed opportunity. I just thought, I've got a captured, like, that you are mine for 70 or 90 minutes, and I've captured your attention. Why not? Why not give you the gift of some of my research or some of the things that I know? And I remember being a third grade teacher, and I remember saying to my students, okay, here is your smarty pants dinner conversation. And I would teach them something that they could go home to their parents and they could say, did you know? And the minute that lesson came out, they were just so excited. And I think of it in terms of smarty pants dinner conversation about what's going on in the world. Because I think that if we ignore it, it's still not going to go away, and no one's ever going to be able to move forward. It keeps reiterating itself in different times, which is why we still have to have these conversations about race and politics and you know, misogyny. Like, all of these things are still happening. We still have to have the conversation. Nobody's having the conversation, so I'm going to have a conversation, and that's what I do in my song. I kind of weave them through. I choose songs specifically so that I can refer back to them, or so that there's you know, it's like we got here. It was a natural segue into this conversation. And sometimes I just go, hey, this is the activist portion of the concert, and there's going to be a couple of songs, and we're going to talk about them for a few minutes, and then we'll go back to the regularly scheduled program. It's going to be okay. And most people go with me on that journey. I haven't had anybody get up and walk out, which was my greatest fear. And when I didn't do it, when I didn't talk about what I wanted to talk about, I felt like crap. I felt like crap. I felt like I didn't do what I was supposed to do. Like, I didn't serve. And what I took from that was, I shouldn't have to decrease myself in order to make everybody else feel increased. And so I said, I'm not going to do that anymore. I'm just not. And it's my responsibility to teach you what I know. And so I'm going to keep on doing it until I don't have to do it anymore. She meant every word of it back in 1963, and I mean every word of it today. Alabama's got me so upset. Tennessee's made me lose my rest. But everybody knows about Mississippi. God,
can't you see it? I know you can feel it. It's all in the air. I can't stand the pressure much longer. Somebody say a prayer. Alabama's got me so upset, and Governor Wallace has made me lose my rest. Everybody knows about Mississippi. Goddamn.
So for me, I decided, well, I want to educate people more about issues about race and feminism, and so that's what I do. I'm an influencer, but I do it in a way that is meaningful to me, and and everybody has to find their own way that they want to share that kind of, because everybody can't be a singer, and everybody can't be an activist, and everybody can't be an artist, but you can find your own way to share the message of whatever it is you're trying to share. And that's what I would say to young people. You have to think about it long term too, right? Because what you do today is permanent. It's gonna live forever in infamy or not on some platform. I think if you have something to say, you should say it and you should also be bold and be brave and continue to do it, because it doesn't matter what you say, some people are not gonna like it. You can't please them all.
Lord have mercy on the land of mine. We all gonna get it in due time. I don't belong here, I don't belong there. I've even stopped believing in prayer. Don't tell me, I'll tell you. Me and my people just about do. I've been there, so I know they keep on saying, go slow.
Being an influencer is not new. People think that it's, this big thing that happened because of social media and the platforms of Instagram and TikTok and Facebook and all of that kind of stuff, but it's not new. Like, there have been artists who have also been activists since the dawn of time, and some of the people that I emulate were not considered activists at all, and some of them were, for sure, but take, for example, Billie Holiday. So Billie Holiday is, I did this show of hers, and the takeaway from her was that she was just a bad mamma jamma. Like, she gave zero, right? She was just like, I'm not dealing with anybody's foolishness and anybody's, like, I'm not putting up with it. So she was like she was like one of the first people who was like, ain't nobody got time for that. She did not have time for any of that foolishness. She was just so formidable. She was just, because she had everything, all of the pieces just falling in on her, and she said, I'm gonna do it anyway.
Here is a fruit for the crows to pluck, for the rain to gather, for the wind.
So I tell this story whenever I do a concert. I sing Strange Fruit. I sing at every concert. I said I'm gonna sing it until I don't have to sing it anymore. And I hope that there's a day that I don't. I really do.
Blood on the leaves
The personification of that song that talks about the lynching that occurred in the South it's still relatable today, 2021. And it's heartbreaking, but I think people need to hear about it. I have had, at every concert, somebody tell me that they didn't know that song, that they had never heard it and they didn't know what it meant. And I was like, wow, okay, I definitely have to keep singing this. And so this is what I mean by using your platform for good. Like, because I think if we still have people that don't know about it, that don't know the history, you can just kind of go along your merry way and never think that you can do something about it, but you can. And you can talk about it with your family. You can, I mean, there's just all kinds of things that can occur. And so I was afraid to sing that song, but I remembered the theme that action cures fear. And I thought, how am I going to feel if I don't? And so I didn't one time, and I felt like absolute utter crap. I just thought, what are you so afraid of? What are you going to lose? And it wasn't much. I would lose some audience members. I might lose a venue. But what I gained, or what you can gain by sticking to your truth and being your authentic self, is so much more than anything you could ever lose. And that song resonates with a lot of people. It is poignant and deep and meaningful. And I think it kind of spurs you to look her up and look up what she did. So the song itself was written by an English teacher. So that was him being an activist in his own way, right? And then she did it, and the FBI, there was a particular person in one of those agencies that followed her because he was racist, and he followed her around the country, and he harassed her, and he told her, if you just stop singing this song, I will leave you alone. And he would like make up things to arrest her for after her performances. And he made her life just a mess. He was messy, and he just made her life a living hell. And so he told her, if you just stop singing, I will leave you alone. And she said, nah. I just think that was the best form of protest. And when she sang that song, and she would sing it in like bars and stuff, she would make everybody stop serving. She'd make them turn off all the lights, and she had one spotlight on her because she wanted everybody to know. She wanted everybody to listen to the words of this song. And I just think that is like, boom, like, you gonna hear me today is what I think she was saying. And she lost her cabaret license. So she lost her ability to perform in New York clubs because that person that was following her and harassing her had her arrested. And so I don't think of her as tragic. I think of her as, she was bomb diggity, and she did her thing. And I emulate that. I want to do the thing. I think if you're not making people a little bit uncomfortable, and you're not causing them to think about hard things, you're not doing your job. So Billie Holiday was my greatest influencer, but there were a couple of others. I think about Marvin Gaye, and I think about how his personal story was his brother went to Vietnam, and when he came back, he was a little messed up, and he went on to write the song "What's Going On," and it's still an anthem, right? You know, like, it's still the thing that people that comes to mind, and and it's great. And then I think about Gil Heron, and when he wrote the song, the revolution will not be televised. I mean, like, it won't. Like, it's happening in the streets. It's happening in your homes and at your kitchen tables, and you're having these discussions. And I want to be a part of making those discussions happen, which is why I do what I do. The epitome of my influencer was Nina Simone. You study the body of her work, and you've got these great songs, but one of the things that I found out that she said was that it was an artist's responsibility to reflect the times. And I thought, oh, she said exactly what I'm thinking. Like, why am I afraid to do this song? Oh, because it's going to do something to people. It's going to cause some people some heartburn, and they're going to have to think, and they're going to have to respond and reflect. And I just think that was like a watershed moment for me. Once I read that, I said, okay, I'm not afraid to do this anymore. I'm gonna embody Nina and Billy. And so yeah, they're with me all the time. So I try to reflect the times.
It would feel to be free. I wish I could break all the chains still binding me. Yeah. Wish I could say all the things that I can say when I'm relaxed.